What's good, YouTube? Bope here for the draft analysis for Season 3 of the JJDL. This is the Chien Pao division, the Wi-Fi division. And yeah, this is super exciting here. We're going to be officially cementing ourselves as a, I don't know, maybe a key character in the John Jr. Discord lore, the John Jr. Cinematic Universe, whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, we're facing off against a ton of really big-time coaches here, at least to me. John's obviously in it, Obo, Star's in it, I know D-Ray as well, it's whatever, J-Bear. We've got a ton of different people, and a ton of people that I've also already faced in a couple of the first few seasons of the JJDL as well. I know Dashing Septile's been around for a while, Spider as well. Familiar with both of them for sure. And yeah, we've got a ton of people, and this is something I'm honestly really excited for. This is my first Wi-Fi division here, obviously on the channel. And yeah, this is going to be super exciting. Just going over a few things to keep in mind for the draft before we get into anything huge here. We did have a big pool of coaches, 16 coaches, I believe. And we were working with, I believe it was 110 points. 110? That sounds about right. It was like 110. It was a good amount of points. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was a fair amount. 115. Shit. So it's 115. We had 16 coaches to work with. This was honestly like the most updated draft board that we've had, just because of what's been available, especially with the Indigo Mask being fully released, which is pretty cool. The Terra rules in this league, it is free Terra. That's something that I have experience with, albeit just one league that's currently going on for me, but still experience is experience. The rules for where it is for, you can draft up to 3 Terra captains, one of which has to be under 20 Terra points, so you'll have like the normal draft value for a Pokemon, and then its Terra value, so you just have to keep those in mind. There were a few things that were Terra banned. If you're watching like John's stream, you'll definitely understand why stuff was banned. We did like a few rounds of testing as well, so all the stuff that's banned makes total sense. And I'll be honest, I don't know, I didn't put too much value into some of the broken stuff that was in free Terra. There was a few things that I did have in mind, and you'll be able to see that through my draft analysis. But yeah, I just want to get into the picks now, so let's get into the team. All right, so getting into round 1, I was able to get the 4th pick overall, which is honestly pretty poggers. Having a top 5 pick was honestly, I'll be honest, I'm very flexible with where I'm able to draft. I'm obviously inclined to want to get something at the top, but I think being able to draft at the bottom and in the middle both have their merits. But yeah, I was put into the 4 slot here. Stuff that already went off the board. I'm actually interested. So it was Iron Valiant, there was a big thing. So Iron Valiant, Dragapult, and Spectre were the original 3 that got taken out first. And Dio Speed was my first round pick. Now, Dio Speed was something that was already on my radar. I want to shout out OG Albina for watching him in BBR this season, and something that I really do value. Honestly, it seems like more than, I don't know, maybe it's not more than some people in the community, but at least in John's Discord league and just people that I'm talking to, is speed tiers. And God, 180 speed on Dio, this thing's crazy. It does enough damage output to be warranted as like a top pick here. It fills in so many roles too. It sets up hazards and spikes and stealth rocks. It's got a plethora of coverage, and hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of that. Like honestly, 4 attacks, and Life Orb does a ton of work more frequently than not. I'm almost positive it does get access to teleport this gen too. I might be talking out of my butt here, but am I wrong? This is like not getting edited out, by the way. Pretty sure it has teleport. It does, so I'm not wrong. It would be like priority teleport though, which is not priority, but like it's probably outspeeding anything that isn't Prankster. It has good utility as well. Taunt and Thunderwave are pretty nice as well, for any like Sash sets. And it's just really good coverage and has knock. It does have E-speed, not that you're going to be using it, but it's there, man. And this thing is just, I think it's a really good glue piece. It provides more of a comfortability for me. One thing that I've noticed in a lot of Gen 9 drafts is that if you aren't grabbing, if you're not grabbing one of the like Cork Drive or Booster Energy Mons, just in general, the Mons that use Booster, the Paradox Pokemon, like usually, I don't know, like a lot of first and second round picks can really have a tendency to be top speed tiers. At least for me, I feel a heck of a lot more comfortable if I have like something over base 115 in like my first 1 or 2 picks, even top 3. And I think that's a big tendency. So having something that has such a big advantage over everyone else is crazy, man. This thing I'm so excited to use. I think it'll be really fun. And getting to pair that with something that was crazy. I was able to get this in round 3 for like a speed tour, but thankfully it only had to go in round 2 this time, which is still pretty crazy to me, is Garchomp. Garchomp is actually something I have never used in draft before, which is really crazy. So a little context on me real quick, little Bope lore. Oh god, Bope lore. I played Draft League back in Gen 7. That was my first experience with it. I didn't play any in Gen 8, and then just hopping into Draft League like over this past year in Gen 9 is my experience in Draft League. I've never used Garchomp, which is crazy, because it's been a staple at the top of the tiers any of the last 3 gens, which is crazy. But Garchomp is, you kind of know what it does. The biggest thing for me with Dio Speed is struggling to break steel types, and Garchomp has no trouble there. Obviously, base 102 speed, being over that base 100 is really huge. Obviously, another access to Stealth Rock and Spikes. Having my top 2 Mons have that access is so nice, man. Base 130 attack, and pretty solid coverage. The addition of Scale Shot actually does help out Garchomp a lot. It actually makes it have a more tendency to be able to sweep. It's never, I don't think it's ever been that crazy of a sweeper. In general, it can clean just because of its base 102 speed, just being faster. But yeah, it's solid coverage, and it's Garchomp, man. It's just a really good Pokemon. I don't think I was looking for anything too specific in that second round, just like going back to my thought process, but definitely something to break steals was going to be important for Dio, and I think Garchomp fills that pretty well. And kind of going into round 3, I will say that my biggest thing, I was just looking for Mons that I thought I wanted to use. Rolls would kind of come into play as we got into like round 4 and round 5, but I was just looking at Mons that I want to use. And this was actually like a big snipe for everyone, so it kind of makes me proud on it. And it's also just, I wanted to use her. It's Primarina. Primarina was pretty low on the tiers. Like, I do think it's worth like 12 points, but like, it's a really good 12 pointer. I'm really excited for it. Water Fairy is a great typing. It's got obviously like power behind it. I want to say 120 be special attack, or is it better? 126. Like a bunch of 4s and 6s, and it's base stats. That's weird. It's a starter. But yeah, Prim has access to Flip Turn now, which is pretty cool. Just kind of generic water type coverage with the addition of fairies is really big. Also, just natural bulk on the special side of things is pretty nice. Just having the ability to phase out, though, is pretty important for me. I think that was something I was looking for after this, but Primarina was something that I definitely wanted to try out, and I think not much to say here. Primarina is fun, and I thought getting a bulky water was going to be important. Just add in as well. Next thing, I was really looking for a steel type. I think by this time there were a good amount of steels that were off the board, and I was also thinking of a way to break grasses, because I just got Prim and Garchomp back to back, so that was going to be something important. I also wanted another pivot option, and something I also value a lot is priority, having strong priority on the team, and Scizor checks literally all those boxes. Scizor is a mon that I have used before, back when it had Defog, which unfortunately doesn't have anymore, but that's totally fine. Wait, actually, I'm talking about Defog. I totally meant Roost. It has Defog. I meant Roost. It has Defog still, which is cool. I did want that, so keeping that in. But Scizor is fun. It's another physical breaker, which is very nice. That's also something that I want to establish, is a difference between breakers and setup potential. Like, I do think Garchomp has setup potential, and I guess Scizor does have too if like someone's super weak to BP, but it's going to be a breaker for the most part. I do think its typing works pretty well. I do think that Garchomp and Prim being like really great switches into fire types made me feel way more comfortable to picking Scizor. I've also found in my last 2 leagues, I've had Donphan on both of those teams, and I've also had like backup spinners. So one of them has Quaquaval, and one of them has Cyclizar, and I also believe they each have like a tertiary, like a third removing option, which has been like really cool to have. Like, I've not faced rocks more like once or twice, which is like crazy. Not expecting that here, but yeah, that's just something I was keeping in mind. I wanted a steel type, I wanted removal, and priority. Scizor fits all those boxes. This upcoming round 5, I'll be honest, I think this was a bit of a reach by me, but I also think that, again, this was a mon I wanted to try out. I wanted to get another like solid remover, and I also thought that this mon did get like some upgrades just since I've last used it, and that's Serena. At this point in time, I didn't have anything that had, aside from just like coverage moves on Dio, I didn't have anything that was going to be breaking waters. So Serena came in pretty nice here. Base 70, I didn't have anything in that speed tier as well. That's something that I'm like kind of following, but kind of not. But Serena's really good. It got access once again to Triple Axle. It's another U-turn mon, and it's just decently bulky. I've seen Addison use it in, I want to say it's, pretty sure it's PPL that she's using it right now. She's using it as Terramon, which is pretty cool. I did not want to go down that route. It wasn't something that really piqued my interest, but yeah, Serena's pretty cool. I do think that I kind of went a little overzealous with this pick, but overall it's still pretty cool. Also, this is like me just thinking about this while I'm talking. The draft happened like 3 weeks ago, so I apologize if like I'm giving like somewhat thoughts on where I was at. Dude, I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. I'm trying to give like the best thought that I did. This one though, I know exactly what was going on. So I picked round 6 Terra Skeledirge. I saw this on the board, and I had also used this in JJDL Season 1. And a bunch of people, including Star and John themselves, they were like, why the heck did you not Terra Skeledirge? To give you context, I had Terra Spathra. I think a Spathra very much needs to be Terra'd. If it's going to be used, it's Terra banned in this season, so might be warranted. But yeah, I was thinking like, I thought Dirge made sense just because I wanted a fire type, and Ghost is something I prioritize a lot as well. I thought an Unaware Mon would be really cool, and I just thought it would be like just a really great wall. As time went on though, and the way that my points worked out, this Mon, I don't know. It might be worth 20 points, but the way that my draft kind of unraveled, I was spending way too much to really afford this. And I thought it was taking away from something that I really did need, which is, along with Dio, a fighting type, which is something I do grab later. It's another one of these great trades. So you will see that Chandelure is actually going to be the actual pick. So I'll talk more about Chandelure and what its role is going to be, even though it wasn't the original pick here. Just really good fire type, which I think, once again, just want help breaking grasses for Garchomp and Prim. I also think that, adding Terra to it, it's a base 145 special attacker. I think any Mon that's like 130 or above on either attack or special attack, you add Terra to that, it's gonna be pretty good. Like, Chandelure is like decent coverage. It's got Energy Ball, it's got Psychic, it's got its stabs. But I don't know. I think adding like a Terra Fairy to that, or just like any spammable type to that, I think it's gonna be really cool. I also think that it limits switch-ins, which is gonna be really cool. I think the speed tier also works out as well, because I didn't have anything in the 80s, which was something that I look back on that I wanted to fix. So this was a move that I did make in Grace, but I do think it's the right one. Definitely with my other switched pick is at the end here, so you'll be able to see kind of where I was going with that. We'll go into round 7, and I was really like squeezing for points. So I was looking at the bottom of the tiers and seeing like what kind of caught my eye, and immediately, damn, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need an electric type. That's something I value. I was talking about the next pick, but Raikou. I was looking at Raikou back into like pick 4, pick 5. I was just like, man, I don't know if its offensive like output is enough. And I was looking at the Thundurus duo as well, because I was thinking about terroring Thundy T. I thought that would have been really cool. Thundy I is like pretty solid, but I was definitely looking at Thundy T. That it eventually got taken, I think honestly in round 4 or 5. So I was pushing off Raikou. I think it's really good. I think it's really bulky, and something that I've fallen into is a lot of my drafts this generation, I've just drafted either like a really bulky electric type, or I've drafted a Rotom, which like Rotom's bulky, but like it's kind of on the spectrum. It's like it's supported by its secondary types a lot. But Raikou, base 115, it's really good as a secondary speed tier Mon to Dio Speed. Obviously has Volt Switch, decent enough coverage. It has like solid coverage, it has screens, so I do think I'd be able to use it in that way as well. And yeah, I just think it can be a really solid support Mon. 12 points was pretty solid for me, and I think it was at a point where it made a ton of sense. And definitely the speed was like the biggest thing to kind of push me toward that way. But I was talking about the low tier Mons I was interested in. The first one that got me is Smeargle. Smeargle was 2 points. Yeah, I kind of needed to grab that, because I just thought like having access to additional spikes, rocks, webs, support, and also spore, I thought it was really nice at 2 points. A lot of people were drafting like only up to 9 Pokemon. Not my style. I want to optimize and get as many Mons and as many options as I can use. I think Smeargle is a perfect example for that. If it comes to 2 matches, cool, but this Mon is going to be serving a role in its 2 matches. Another one that came in, and this is going to be my second Terra Captain year along with Chandelure, and a lot of people were pissed off about this, which makes me so happy. Screw you guys. Is Greedent. Terra Greedent. I have seen, oh my goodness, Gravy like go off with this Mon. And also just, I've seen it a few times. I think Crimson Seabat is used as well. Chase. Shout out to those guys. They make great content. Yeah, I really wanted to use Greedent. I thought it would be really good as a another Terra option. And yeah, I just thought it would be fun. It's a great setup threat as well. And it can be solidly bulky as well. Another normal type is very nice. Greedent would be my go-to normal type, not Smeargle. I'm facing any ghost spam, but yeah, Greedent is here, and I'm honestly pretty excited for it. I think it'll be fun. Going into these last two picks now, I was very much with the idea that I was going to drop Skeleturge. So I was looking for something that would be a solid, third Terramon. Or actually, excuse me. The way I was thinking about this was I was still having Skeleturge in mind. So this third Terramon fills in that extra 3 points that I was missing. So if I do end up making moves a few weeks into the season, it'll likely be with these Terramons. I'll see how I like Greedent, but this one's definitely interesting. But I thought Terraglaceon would be fun. Bolt Beam is very well known to be very spammable. Glaceon is surprisingly invested in special attack. 130, I believe? 130. And it's got pretty solid defenses. It's an evolution. It's solidly bulky. I just thought it would be really fun. I think it's sets up as a really good AV user. That's something that I have a ton of fun with. Bulky mons that have just spammable moves. Azu's one of the first things I think of when I think of an AV user like that, which is spammable moves. I think Glaceon's gonna be fun. It's natural bulk. Serves it well enough. Actually, it's pretty bulky on both sides. And it's got pretty solid moves. Its coverage is crap. It's really bad. But it does have access to Trailblaze, which would be interesting. It has Wish Pass, which is pretty cool. Has Freeze Dry, which is kind of the only thing I need. And also has Pivoting as well with Baton Pass, which is very nice. Yeah. And then going into this last pick here, it was originally Flamigo, because I was really needing something off the ground. That was something that I was really desperate for, and I also wanted a fighting type, just to kind of help out Garchomp with any steals. But Gyarados ended up being on the board after Grace was over, and it was kind of standing out to me just as a pretty solid option to kind of pivot to. It's a base 100 mon. It's got really good physical attack. It's got pretty solid coverage, and also just fighting and flying is pretty spammable. I have spammable moves that I feel pretty comfortable about. And yeah, I just think Gyarados. I haven't used Gyarados, which is surprising because I love OG Zapdos and I've wanted to use Gyarados for a while. But yeah, this ended up working out pretty well for me. I honestly was pretty happy with speed tiers, which was something that I was worried about. I did think about terraing this mon, but personally, I don't think for the role that I want to use it for, I really need Terra. Chandelure was the only thing that I thought I could really see myself using. To be honest, the things that I was going back and forth between for Terra were Raikou and Chandelure. So that's just a little bit into my mindset here, but I'm honestly really excited, man. I think the way that things fell, I put together a pretty good team. I'm really excited. This is honestly an assortment of Pokemon that I really have not used too much. Honestly, aside from Big Scizor, these are all relatively new to me, so I'm really excited, man. I'm not someone that hops into 5 billion leagues. I usually stick to 2 at the most, which is gonna be what I'm running right now. I'm just finishing up Run and Pack, so I'm pretty excited there. I'm in playoffs there, just kind of finishing up the season. But yeah, this is kind of a raw start for me here in JJDL. I'm super excited. I'm gonna be playing Trey Unt week 1, which is pretty exciting. Unt. One of the Reggies. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna put up a final graphic. It'll be over this if I do, of the team. But yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, if you guys want to throw any nicknames down in the comments, that would be pretty cool. I do have nicknames kind of already picked out for a decent amount of mons, but I'm open to whatever, guys. I'll definitely use it for at least one game. And yeah, this is pretty much it. If you guys want to show support, make sure to drop a like on the video. This is gonna be one of my first videos on the channel, so yeah, be really appreciated. Probably go into more analysis about team-specific stuff when I get into week 1, but this is pretty much all I've got for now, so I'll catch you guys on the flip side, and thank you guys for watching. Peace!